It appears that former President Donald Trump is preemptively banning people from, working for him if they had worked with Ron DeSantis. Let him fight. All right, so now this comes from Real Clear Politics and a source close to the former president, basically saying that any individuals who had worked with Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida on his recent book tour will not be considered to, work for Trump in his, if he actually ends up winning the Republican nomination and, God forbid, the presidency. Yikes. In fact, the quote here was, they would be considered persona non grata. It's a time for choosing. If you work for Ron DeSantis' presidential race, you will not work for the Trump campaign or in the Trump White House. Well, say it ain't so. You work for Ron DeSantis? Now you want to work for me?
Can't let that happen.
Yeah. All right. So now look, here's the thing about that and why it's actually kind of surprising. You see, normally politicians will hire staffers from other campaigns once those campaigns are over. And look, to be honest, it is kind of like the fact that they're all part of the club, essentially. So yeah, they'll hire from each other's campaigns, and one campaign folds in a primary, and then they'll take on some of the staff from the others, and that's generally how it works. There is one other time that I have seen something like this, and that was actually back in 2016. Now, as far as I can remember, I don't think that anyone from the Bernie Sanders campaign had gotten hired for the Clinton campaign. Look, I think that that's the case because Hillary Clinton despises Bernie Sanders. I think that even though she won the primary and he went and did all these campaign events for her, stumped for her, etc., she's still got it out for Bernie. Now, that said, he was able to let it go and, to stump on her behalf to try to beat Donald Trump. Unfortunately, it did not work. Now, that said, that's the only other time that I've seen this happen. And maybe it's happened several times before, but that's the most recent example. Now we're seeing essentially this a similar thing. Trump telegraphing that, hey, you're even you're with DeSantis? No.
Can't let that happen.
Not gonna work for me. Now, Trump, look, this kind of goes along the lines of loyalty, right? We know Donald Trump. Apparently, he loves when people are loyal to him. Now, he doesn't return that loyalty. We also know that. And he's been saying this about DeSantis, that DeSantis owes him. I made Ron DeSanctimonious. It'll be disloyal if you run against me. Because he hasn't even filed his paperwork. He hasn't even officially jumped into the race yet. And Donald Trump's, again, had even implied that that DeSantis is gay and or a pedophile. So already Trump going absolutely nuclear. And it feels like we haven't even seen the most of it yet. That said, over and over, Donald Trump has come out and said DeSantis owes me. I made him. And not only that, but he was begging me for an endorsement. In fact, here's what he said in his most recent rally on Saturday in Waco, Texas, of all places.
When a man comes to me, tears in his eyes, he's at almost nothing in the polls. And he's fighting somebody that's at 42 and he's got almost $30 million in the bank. He's at almost nothing. He's got no cash. And I say, I can't give you an endorsement. There's no way you can win. You're dead. But he fought a little bit like 150, who's certainly no Jim Jordan, that I can tell you. He fought a little bit, just a little bit, on impeachment hoax number 1, impeachment hoax number 2, meaning on television, because I didn't know him very well. But I saw him, so I came and he really wanted. I said, you can't win, can you? How you can win? Sir, if you endorse me, I'll win. Please. Please, sir, endorse me. And I said, all right, let's give it a shot.
Okay, couple of things from that. For one, you didn't see like anybody in the crowd really reacting to that very well at all. They're like, oh, for God's sakes, would you stop attacking DeSantis? Not interested. We're not interested. In fact, look, they're not interested in trashing other Republicans. It's probably not going to bode well for Trump, maybe. But that said, look, to me, again, this is Trump warning off any of his, maybe his former staffers who had served already in the Trump administration to not help DeSantis. Now, why is that? Well, we've seen a lot of former Trump supporters, Trump staffers, people who, served in that administration go towards DeSantis. I think Mulvaney is one of the most recent examples. Ken Cuccinelli as well, the Cooch. All right, so that said, the people that worked for him, look, I had said that there were two different types of people that worked for Donald Trump. People who just, of course, wanted the prestige, wanted their paycheck, prestige, please, of working in a Republican administration or whatever, just looking for power, looking to ride the coattails. And, of course, there are the true believers, the insane people. Okay, so, but generally, I would think the people who are just looking for a paycheck and to, get some notoriety, some fame, etc., maybe set themselves up for, sweet deals in the private sector. Okay. Generally, those are the people that are now on board for Ron DeSantis. Now, the thing about them is that they're pretty much done with Trump at this point, as I just mentioned. But there are people who are working with Ron DeSantis, or who might work with Ron DeSantis if he decides to jump in. Well, they're already going to get blackballed. I don't care about them, really, but I do think it is very interesting that he's putting out this warning saying, hey, all you wannabe staffers, don't work with Ron DeSantis. Now, of course, is that going to do anything? No, I don't think it's going to have an effect. People are going to try to work for him anyway, if he decides to run, and if he has a good enough shot against Donald Trump. And maybe they could leverage that into, I was working to defeat Donald Trump, to create a brand new non-Trump Republican Party that still runs on basically the same things that Donald Trump believed, but in a package that could be a little less toxic for the brand. I don't know how it would be less toxic for the brand, because Ron DeSantis is a terrible choice, but they're both terrible, in my opinion. So, that said, these people have a choice. Go with DeSantis and get blackballed by Trump. And now Trump, of course, I don't know if he's going to win the Republican nomination. His polls are up, but they could go down. Somebody else could enter the race. A new challenger could appear at any time. We don't know. But they could work with Trump, lose, and then lose out on all the opportunities. And, of course, be stuck with the stain of working for the Trump 2024 campaign. Again, it's a choice that they have to make. I don't really care what they choose. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But it is a threat, and it is, of course, him trying to undermine Ron DeSantis before he even begins his campaign. And so that's part of the direction that he's trying to take. Is he scared of Ron DeSantis entering the race? I don't see why. But then again, when it comes to any sort of competition, whether he's scared or not, Trump turns it up to 11 and goes nuclear.